Okay, section 3.2 is going to be a lot like what we did yesterday, but this time we're going to solve equations and they're all going to have multiplication and division in them this time. So if you remember from yesterday, it's all about keeping your sides organized and doing the opposite operation to get the variable by itself. So the most important thing though is keeping your equation balanced. Remember, whatever you do on one side, you have to do to the other. So go ahead and put a little star by that. And then today, since we're doing multiplication and division, got to know what the opposite is. So if you have a multiplication problem, to get the variable by itself, you're going to do division. And then if you have a division problem, the opposite operation is going to be multiplication. So let's just jump into some problems and you'll see what I mean. So these first three examples are all multiplication problems. The variable is right next to the number, then that's being multiplied. So let's start just by, like yesterday, we're going to separate our sides, and we have 4n, or 4 times n. So to get n by itself, we're going to divide 4 on both sides. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so we're just left with 1n, or just n. Now whatever you do on one side, have to do to the other, so I'm going to divide this side by 4, and I'm going to get 9. So you can plug that in to check your solution. Let's just do it like this. If I have 4 times 9, that does give us 36. So this one checks out. So these are nice and simple to check. Alright, example 2 looks a little strange because the variable is on the right side, but it's going to be the same process. So we have -6 divided by p. This is a multiplication problem. A big mistake would be you think it would be subtraction, so you would add 6. But you have to think about what's happening to the variable. So -6 times p, the opposite would be to divide by a -6. We want to get that whole term away from the p. So whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So I'm left with 1p, or p equals -7. Let's check it out. So we have -6 times -7. That does give us a positive 42. So this one checks out as well. Alright, last multiplication example. This one you have to be careful of as well. So we have 12 times x. So the opposite would be to divide by 12. Now a lot of people rush through these and they automatically think they're going to divide by 3. But remember, you have to get rid of the term next to the variable. So I'm actually going to divide both sides by 12. So I'm left with 1x, or just x. Now, again, if you rush through this, you might say, oh, the answer is 4. But think about what this is saying. 3 divided by 12. It's not the other way around. If you plug that into your calculator, you're probably going to get a decimal. Decimals we can't have. So if you have a fraction like this that in your calculator is giving you a decimal, think I have to simplify this. So what can you divide by the top and the bottom? Well, the answer would be 3. So if you divide the top and bottom by 3, the simplified fraction would be 1/4. So this one is one that was a little tricky, so be careful of examples like number 3. Alright, let's look at some division problems. So this one, I have x divided by 5 equals 3. So the opposite of dividing that x by a 5 would be to multiply the x by a 5. So right now what I have is 5/5. So 5/5 just gives you 1. So I'm left with 1x, or just x, equals 3 times 5 gives us 15. Now let's check it, make sure it works. So 15 divided by 5, that does give us 3, so this one checks out. This one looks a little strange because it has the variable on the wrong side, but that's okay, you're going to follow the same process. So if n is being divided by 9, the opposite would be to multiply both sides by 9. So 9/9 gives you 1n, or just n, and 3 times 9 is going to give you 27. We can check it real quick by plugging this back in. So I have 27 divided by 9. That does equal 3. And last one, we have x divided by a -2. Remember, don't automatically add to. It's being divided. So the opposite of division would be to multiply by -2. So I'm left with 1x, or x, is equal to -6. Let's check it real fast. So a -6 divided by a -2 does give us a +3. So there you have it. That is your multiplication division of one-step equations. If you've watched this video completely, then tell me tomorrow that the opposite of multiplication is division. If you come in and tell me that tomorrow, I will give you 5 raffle tickets. So we'll see who really won.